Well, good evening and welcome to the program. I'm Buddy Martin. This is the Buddy Martin Show. It's Thursday night. This is the time when we have our Orange BlueBloods together to talk about the state of things. We hope you're doing all right. It's been a tough week for everybody, and we're trying to sort this out. And today I kind of made a statement and expunged some of the anger and grief I had inside of me. Some of you might have seen the column. Started it. Sent it out today. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad to see you coming on tonight. Waiting for our guys to join in here and see if we can get them with us on the program. So coming up in just a moment, we'll talk more about the situation at Florida. What is it like to be a Vanderbilt Commodore? Yeah, that's what it feels like. I think that now you can say at least it doesn't feel like being a Florida State Seminole, I guess. Say whatever you want to. But anyway, so we're here, folks. I want you to stand by. We're going to get our partners and come back and join you and have a reasonably good night talking about these Florida Gators, although we have a bunch of misery to go with it, don't we? Hope you're doing well. We'll get your comments up on the screen shortly and talk about this thing if you like. This is a place to come for therapy, right? Come and tell us about your feelings here and how you feel, because none of us feel very good right now about this whole thing. So, coming your way, the Buddy Martin Show. Stay tuned.
Or Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
All right, we're live here on the show tonight, and coming up in just a moment, Ben Troupe will join us, and we're going to get with Loren Meadows in a moment and see if we can get him to join. Make sure you got the link okay. Loren, can you hear me all right? Okay, check. Okay, all right. Let me hang up and let you see you joining right now. All right, thanks. All right, an amazing thing. This has been an amazing day. It's never good when you start by losing your wallet with everything in it, all your credit cards, all your licenses, your social security card, your wife's debit cards, everything in that little wallet. The mystery of the missing Buddy Martin wallet is just flabbergasting. We literally spent 6 hours today, the 4 people, looking all over this apartment and our car for a wallet that's always in the same place every night. Today it wasn't there. We thought, well, it's going to be here somewhere, and I'm convinced it's in this apartment. We can't find it. We've torn up everything. We played Dick Tracy and Sherlock Holmes all day and haven't found it. Got some prayers up there tonight that maybe somehow it'll show up like other missing things that we've had. I'm sure the Gators could use a few of those prayers as well. We talked tonight about what it's like, or it must be like, to be a Vanderbilt Commodore fan, or even right now, worse right now, the Florida State fan. But it's pretty gloomy out there when you pin your hopes on a win that you're not that you know you should win. Well, there he is. Is that blood all over you or what?
I mean, I don't know what's up, man. I've been dealing with my new puppy, so I can have all kinds of stuff on me these days.
What's your new puppies thing?
Oh man, I got it's a place called Mostly. It's called Mostly Mutts. And you take dogs that's been unfortunately like abused and mishandled, and they spayed them, and it's a beautiful organization, nonprofit organization. This is our second one, so my dog Kaylee, we got her from Mostly Mutts, buddy, and She needed a friend. She'd be looking at me like this.
Yeah.
And so, the wifey was like, let's go get a new puppy. And I'm, no, she hit me with the, buddy. She hit me with the, let's just go see. Let's just go look at some.
Yeah, of course.
And I go in there, and the dog running up to me. She was like, oh, like I don't even see the lady leave out and come back with the paperwork.
He picked you.
Yeah, she's like a half pit bull, half terrier. She's a beautiful dog, but she is a baby. And I just forgot what it was like to have to, pick up after the joke. I'm enjoying it. Man. I'm enjoying it.
I love those puppy videos. I've been watching them the last couple of days. And at a time like this, when it's so harsh out there,
yes,
so tired of all the angst and problems. Just to have a little puppy love is a great thing, man. It really is. I miss my little dog. I've had dogs all my life. A couple of them actually helped me write my books. They laid on my feet till I finished the books. And everybody's got a dog story. This is just a little diversion for what's coming up tonight. We know what that is, talking about what's happening to this football team. And by the way, I wrote a real rough column tonight.
I read
it. And I know it's not going to go down well with some people, and I'll take whatever you want to throw at me, but I felt like it was time to speak up. Anyway, bottom line is that these little dogs are so sweet. Love it. My daughter, Rebecca, in Colorado, when she went to Colorado State, she went out to a trailer park, and there was a black lab mama who had about 6 puppies. And so she picked up one, and he nuzzled right up next to her. This is at the height of Michael Jordan's career. And she fell in love with him, and she brought him home and called him Jordan. And she said, oh, Dad, we're just going to give him shots and, let him go and then you get him away or whatever. Guess what? 14 years later, we still had him. And she put him down when he had to be put down. But anyway, great stuff. Great dog. Love puppy, love dogs. Anyway, on to more serious business today. I hope your day has been better than mine. Mine's been like spilling water all over my computer, losing my wallet. Don't you hate losing your wallet? With all my credit cards, my wife's credit cards, debit cards, license. Cannot find it in this house. It's in this house. That's how it started for me. And I'm done now because I've been complaining since I started out today with this column. For those who have not seen it, I just felt like it was time to be honest. And friends like you, Ben, Allie, different people have made me realize I'm nobody, but I got a brick in that stadium too. I was a letterman. I went to school there. I've covered the team all these years. I've written books about it. I actually have a brick on the brick facade where you buy a brick. My family brick on it with a boyful floor. My point is that I have something at stake here too. I have skin in that game, and I shamed myself when I wrote last week and followed up that I let these guys get away with this. I let them get away with it. Not just not giving an interview. That's not even the most important part is look at, hey, you're the most positive person in the world, Ben. You really are. And you've done a great job of keeping the spirits up. And I hope you'll keep doing that. But the bottom line is that it's that we sat here and watched them, unintentionally otherwise, pick our pockets for $200 million and not deliver the product that we all thought was coming. Now, that's just how it is. That's what the column's about. So you go ahead and beat me up if you want to. That's
No. I read your column, and this is what I appreciate about your column. I think this column is 3 years in the making. It's almost like this. Billy Napier didn't give himself the first two. The other columns you write about Billy are through the lens of I'm giving benefit of the doubt. I'm giving them time to get it going. First year, we get it. First year, new coach coming from the Sun Belt, we get it. Second year, hey man, we trying to, we can see flashes. Got a big win against Tennessee. Has certain things to look forward to, even though the season didn't go right. Embarrassing loss against Kentucky, fourth and forever against Mizzou, just a lot of things. This year, I think the thing is this. At the University of Florida, there was patience is very, 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 very waning. It's very, very thin. And a lot of times when it comes to the word patience, it's like a mirage. Patience at the University of Florida, you ask 100 fans, you're gonna get 100 different explanations. The thing about it is, buddy, we have to believe is what you said. Am I going to trust my eyes? Am I going to trust what I'm looking at? And the product on the field, and this is to not call out any one person in particular. Last year we had Coach Chaos at D-line. Oh man, we got Coach Chaos.
Oh yeah, gonna be great. Gonna be great.
Boom. Got one of the best DB coaches in the country.
Yeah.
Within one, they're gone. They're gone. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna compare it to this, even though it's not the same thing. Bryce Young just made the news for getting, benched at the first 2 games of his second year. And people can say, hey man, Bryce Young is the problem. Somebody put up a picture of Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Cam Newton. All 3 of those guys have come through there, and this is Cam the second time around. Mm-hmm. It's easy to point the finger to a Bryce Young, but I go, look at his infrastructure. Look at what's around him. Billy Napier cannot say that, and this is why. You've had coaches, you've gotten players. It just hasn't happened. And I get it. People can say, well, Ben, it sounds like you're pushing the panic button. No reason to push the panic button. I'm believing what I'm seeing. Because, buddy, we said this from the jump. We said Billy Napier can be the nicest dude ever. He can be the best players coach ever. We are in a bottom line wins and losses business, period. It don't matter who you are. At the University of Florida, you got to win. Urban Meyer said, man, as much as I want this program to do well, I think that ship has sailed. Emmitt Smith said, well, he says he sees himself having a 4th year. I just don't see it. It's because at a certain point, we love and give Billy Napier the benefit of doubt because of who we root for. And that's fine. I get it. But, buddy, I think the thing about it is, and what we're looking at each Saturday is, it's beyond bad because it's not competitive. And the thing about it is, it's so lackluster to the point where I don't know how good Texas A&M is. Nothing against them. I don't know how good Miami is, and nothing against them.
They lost 10 straight on the road. That's how good they were.
But and it's like Florida be doing stuff that doesn't happen, right? And I think what you wrote was very, very to the point. You're not being. Let me say this. If people come at you, you're not being mean. You're being honest, and that's the world we live in now. Honesty is looked upon as mean, harsh. Oh man, give them a break. No. I'm gonna say this, buddy. Your journalistic integrity is the only thing that keep you from saying even more. Like, look, man, I could really go in, but at a certain point, we can't keep saying, "Hey, man, it's gonna be all right." Now, is it going to be all right eventually? Yes, but the problem is, buddy, we don't know what eventually is. We don't know. We don't know what eventually is. It's to the point now they can't even put out a real depth chart. They won't even put out a depth chart of who's going to play, who's not going to play. And I'm like, what does the depth chart got to do with? But that's how, and I think what Billy Napier has realized, if he haven't realized it yet, we don't know. We know the clock is ticking, right? We know that. We don't know when. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not looking forward to that doomsday.
He's a dead man walking.
No, he is, but he is. The reason why I'm saying I'm not looking to the doomsday is this. We thought it couldn't get worse than Muschamp. We thought it couldn't get worse than McElwain. We said, I remember, there is no way it could get. I'm at Florida, Georgia. McElwain's last year, right before the little dolphin, whatever it was, fish incident, I don't even want to know what it was. It was 21-0 in the first quarter, and I said, McElwain's gone. And I said to myself, it cannot get worse than this. B.J. Bennett, a diehard Florida State fan, said, dude, what's going on? And here's the thing, buddy, and somebody said this, and I believe it. Florida is not the type of school you come to because you're an upstart. Like, hey, man, hot shot, coach. And it's nothing against Billy Napier. Let me phrase this right. Billy Napier gets the criticism because you are the face of the University of Florida. The head football coach of Florida is the face. Nothing against Coach Golden and Coach Wise. Nothing against them. Nothing against them. And buddy, you got to deal with it. Billy Napier is still probably the most famous coach in the state of Florida. More famous than Doug Peterson. More famous than Coach Ty Bowles. More famous than Mike McDaniels. All of them. Cristobal, Norvell. And guess what? The only Florida has won one game. Florida State has lost 3. But the difference is, if Florida played the same team Florida State just played, would they have won a game? Who knows? So I think now, buddy,
I can't only judge what's in front of me.
Exactly, and I think the most disappointing thing is this, buddy. I know you don't care about it, but it's like you said, you didn't get the interview. There are certain things that I think is just. To me, Billy Napier didn't take full advantage of the media, who was the only listen, local, Zanesville, Ocala, that media.
Maybe could have used a couple of friends about
it. Because you taught me this even when it came to Urban Meyer. Why would Urban Meyer really come to Buddy Martin? Because you know him personally and professionally. I know him both ways. So when people try to attack him, I say, as long as they're keeping it professional, but when they try to go, you know the line, when they go over the line personally, say, whoa, because I know the man. Billy Napier didn't give you a chance. Yes, because it's like this. He should have been like, hey, man, I'm doing as many interviews with Buddy Martin as I can for this reason. Sometimes you need somebody to be the voice of reason for you. Not that you're going to get them off the ledge. Sometimes you say, listen, man, we going about this all wrong. And like I said, when it comes to this situation right now, though, there somewhere, Will Muschamp left Florida, went to South Carolina. McElwain left Florida, went to Central Michigan, right? Dan Mullen left Florida, he went to the booth. Urban Meyer left Florida, he went to Ohio State. Coach Spurrier left Florida, he went to the then Washington Redskins, then South Carolina, now he's back in Florida. I mean, Billy Napier is going to land on his feet because this is still a great resume booster for him, even if it didn't go well. But I think we learned this. There will never, ever be another upstart coming to Florida. As a head coach, you can't.
Right.
You
Before you, let me just say this before I forget it, because I can't keep remembering it. This is what's wrong, the arrogance of thinking you had all the answers. Let me tell you that. You know Stephen Harris, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know he went to practice and watched practice.
Play with Stephen Harris. Play with old Steve Harris.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he was a stud.
Yeah.
He's a true blue Gator. And he went, Allie told me this story. He told her he went to practice one day to watch practice, and he saw a D lineman messing up. And he said, here, come here, son, let me show you something. He got told to shut his mouth and stop talking to the players. Don't be coaching our players.
Whoa. Hey, you know what's crazy about that? It's crazy, right? So what Steve Harris did is what he would have done in the private. If he would have just saw that young man after practice, he would have did the same thing. And for those people say, well, he shouldn't have been coaching. That's not coaching. No, he's saying, man. He's saying, man, let me tell you something. If you just do this, if you just do that, man, buddy, let me tell you something.
Trying to help. But here's the deal.
Buddy, he wasn't even trying to help. He's just giving it back. That would be like, I just came out of came out of journalism school, and Buddy Martin said, that's him. Hey, Ben, I'm good. No, you're not, because Steve Harris don't benefit one thing by helping that young man.
Right. And that's the thing about Billy. This is the attitude he brings. I don't know what his purpose is. I want to get to the point. I'll tell you, a very famous football coach watched practice from afar. And he watched it and he said, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He saw it a couple of times, one-on-one, offense and defense, one-on-one, all right? And he said what happened was they'd snap and they'd go one-on-one, bang, 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 bang. And if the offensive guy would get the best of them, they go, yeah, all right, yeah, right. Not once did they tell the defensive guy what he was doing wrong. And the next time they do it, and the defensive guy would be, yeah, all right. Not once they tell the offensive guy. This is a professional coach telling them, high level. He said, "You never seen it. There's no coaching and no teaching." And apparently, they believe everything is video and they coach in the film room.
Yeah, well, I mean, let me tell you something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, buddy, and let me tell you something. At the risk of not making a player feel a certain type way in front of the group, I'm gonna wait till we leave. I'm gonna tell you why that is bad. I used to be a person that says, "Hey, man, you praise in public, you discipline in private." No, that's called a relationship. That's what you do when you married. You know, you praise your wife in public. You know, y'all have y'all differences in private. The problem is it's what you just said, buddy. If I'm making mistakes and no one's saying anything, by the time I get to that meeting room, it's over. Because I'm supposed to go to the meeting room and say, remember when I got at you out there at practice? That's what I'm talking about. Now, not because, buddy, one thing about it is, listen, I agree with the Loren Meadows philosophy. They got a Monday through Thursday problem. Because Steve Harris goes there, he said, "Come in, young fella. Hey, be quiet, man. Don't be coaching the players."
Yeah.
And it's like this. Number one, I'm not coaching him. I'm not, stand like that. And here's the thing. Let's just say I am. Let's just say I'm doing it. What is it hurting? I didn't say, "Hey, man, whatever that coach just told you to do, that's wrong." I'm saying, "Hey, man, let me help you add something to your toolbox." Because let me tell you what the players going to get real fast. Whenever they decide to move on from Billy, you can't hide behind Billy no more. And I'm talking about the players. Because as long as he's there, they can say, "Oh, Billy and Billy this." And I get it. But Ron Zook let me know this, though. He said, "Being everybody want to blame the coach when it don't go well, but everybody want to praise the coach when it does." He said, "That's fine, and that's how it's supposed to go." When it comes to these players, though, buddy, at a certain point, those players that got aspirations to go to the next level, when they go to the combines, they're going to see these teams, they're going to ask them. They're going to say, "Billy Napier aside, push him to the side for a second. You play, right? Yeah. What happened?" Because Billy Napier, let me say this. Billy Napier is the head coach. They go by him. But you know who nobody's talking about? Nobody's saying anything about. You wouldn't even know Coach Armstrong was the D coordinator. Nobody is saying a word.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you ain't, buddy.
Like other coaches, he came and he went. He's there, but he's not there. And there's always, let me just say this. I got that quick break. I should have known from the very get-go how Billy was going to coach. He's never going to tell you anything. He's not going to respond to anything. He's going to tell you he can fix everything. And basically doesn't really want you to know the inner workings of his team, which is why he couldn't tell you who his defensive coordinator or who his play caller is.
Yeah.
He lied about that. And then all this promise about these guys coming on the defensive staff, all these great coaches, he's missed on almost all of them. And I'm going back. I'm tracking, Ben. I'm going back and tracking my mind here, thinking, where did this thing take a turn for the worse? I'm going to play the spot next. What happened?
You saying when did it take a turn for the worse?
Yeah, I went all the way back to Mullen. You know, when things started going south. I don't know yet what happened then. Mullen got called for show cause, whatever, and we didn't even know about that for months. And then from the thrown shoe game on out, it was horrible. He couldn't get the control. He couldn't get the team anything, and he self-obstructed. He couldn't get it done, and he basically quit coaching. All right. So then you go into the next phase. Who came next? What was next? And we get Billy as a savior. By the way, when you look at his results and what he's done in his coaching in his life, what has he ever done? What's he ever done? I mean, Louisiana ain't going to get it. I mean, that ain't enough. He basically failed in a couple of places. He coached under two guys to get his resume built up. He came in here and told us, "I got this. I'll take it from here. I'll tell you, I'm going to do it how I want to." And we watched him spend millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? We don't even know the amount yet. And now where are we? In hopelessness.
So I'm looking over here. Who is this? Who is this? Lenny? Is that Lenny Thompson? He said Lenny Thompson. He's saying for Billy, it went south. Kentucky game his first year, and I agree with that. I do agree with that because Kentucky's on a 3-game winning streak against Florida. 3. They won 3 in a row. 3. And not only are they winning, they're doing it convincingly. They're doing it convincingly. It went south for Billy. It went south for Billy when two times. I think Kentucky. But now, those comments that Anthony Richardson, if you haven't seen Anthony Richardson little thing he had, when he said, I knew I wasn't coming back, everybody, but it's making sense now. See, we want to jump on Anthony Richardson because, hey, dude, you saying all these things, this, and the third. But remember, we kept saying the offense is going to look different because Anthony Richardson is an athlete. So they're just going to let him do his thing. And then Graham comes in and Graham plays well. But we kept going, why do we keep going for it on 4th down? But we're not getting it. And the offense doesn't have an in-between. It looks really good or it looks lackluster. Then we started talking about the offensive coordinator. Then we started talking about who's going to be the D coordinator. Then we got coaches coming in and leaving. I think the thing about it is, buddy, what Billy Napier has been consistent at since he's been in Florida is being inconsistent. And I think now, when first year, people watching you because you at Florida, but ain't nobody, because Anthony Richardson and Pro Day and all these type things. I'm going to say this about Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen is not a recruiter. But what you just said about Billy Napier can't say about Dan. Dan Mullen won at Mississippi State. Dan Mullen, when the first college football playoff ranking, when the first ever college football playoff ranking.
I gotta do this real quick, man. Hold that thought, all right? I didn't mess around. You did something terrific for the Florida band, man. Tell me about it.
Well, about 3 years ago, our dear friend Freddie Wiebe comes to us and said, the University of Florida won't buy the band a box truck to move their equipment around in. And when they go to Florida State, they go to Jacksonville or whatever, they don't have any, they have to rent trucks and stuff like that. So we collaborated and we put together a deal where we provided them a beautiful big box truck and we wrapped it and with Meldon Law and the UF band. And by the way, the UF band was voted the best band in the country in August of 2023.
That's because Jeffrey, they wanted you to play with them in the band. Jeffrey Meldon Law, they won't back down. Let's go see who's there joining us next. Who's going to be Franz Beer is going to join the conversation. And just getting back before we say good evening, Franz, to the point of we can't play out all the scenarios of what's going to happen. There's so many of them, whatever. We pretty much all concluded that this is not the guy. How he'll be, how he'll exit, I don't know yet. I've heard several theories, as has Franz. Sure, you have too, man. He's not the coach of the future, and now people saying he's going to be here after this year. Not going to happen. This guy's going to have to be gone. First of all, I don't think the people will take out those checkbooks and write them anymore if you think Billy Napier's the coach. And secondly, it's already too late. Make your choice and decision. And I know it's not easy to go get a coach. And I know that everybody wants Lane Kiffin. And I would like to see him here too. Probably not going to happen. But I don't know the names of the other coaches that might surface. It's kind of like a Democratic or Republican convention when you go down having a candidate and you never heard of this guy, Barack Obama, and he comes out of nowhere and becomes president. Now, I don't think that's going to happen here, but I just know this. Florida cannot afford to wait because this whole system is going bankrupt. I don't mean that literally. I mean, it just isn't working. I said my piece on it today. I called the shot how I felt about it today. You guys know what I wrote. Franz, thanks for the note on that, Franz. And I do hate to say it, but you have to ask the question, how did this disaster happen? We are all to blame.
Yeah.
We are. We stood by and watched it happen. It's like the old Western movies. There's a town where there's a bunch of criminals running the city and nobody says anything, right? It's fine to go out and power a gunslinger and bring him in the shirt. The fact is that here we are. I know some people tried. People were not listening to us for sure. Not me, maybe Franz. And so we had no real ability to change the dynamic of what was happening, which some people would say larceny. I mean, just spending hundreds of millions of dollars promising to change and not getting it. And like I said, welcome to life as a Vanderbilt Commodore fan.
It's it makes you wonder, my goodness. And look, I'm not going to say that I wasn't happy with Billy Napier. I bought in like everybody.
We all did.
I think everybody else.
We drank the Kool-Aid. Yes.
I think everybody else did too.
Yeah. Kool-Aid, right.
He has this impressive resume, and he worked for Dabo, and he worked for Nick, and everybody in the world had tried to hire him, and we've said, oh, he was holding out for us. Well, maybe he was, but my gosh, sometimes you need to say, keep holding, baby, keep holding, because whatever you're selling, we ain't buying. And I wish.
Did Scott Strickland get snookered, guys? Does he get snookered?
Well, Scott Strickland, I think, wanted Billy Napier from the beginning because he admitted he said that's the only guy he ever talked to. And my question is this, guys, and I'll throw it at both of you guys. We pulled the plug too early on Dan Mullen. Guarantee you. Here's a guy that does 3 consecutive New Year's Six bowl games. He's got the Alabama team. He's got Alabama totally on the ropes. Should have won that ball game. Let me put it this way. Wins that ball game if the Zebras don't swallow their whistle on 4 different critical calls. Emory Jones plays the game of his life, and who knows? They win that ball game. It could have made Emory Jones might have become the quarterback that Dan Mullen thought he was. Sometimes we tend to forget what one big win can do for the confidence of a quarterback.
Yeah, but don't forget this, Franz. People tend to forget this. During that time, there was a show cause on Dan Mullen for cheating in the NCAA. We didn't know that right thereafter. They were so secretive about it. We never knew it until the end of the season. So something wasn't going right. And I remember distinctly in a press conference where someone asked Mullen about his contract. He said, I guess I'm all right, Scott? And Strickland kind of gave him a yeah, but not a real yeah. Something we don't know yet what happened to Dan Mullen. We don't know. I don't know.
But it's just the same. People stick with their coaches. A lot of times they stick with their coaches. Florida, Dan Mullen had won, and we said, I understand. People say Dan Mullen couldn't recruit, but hey, he recruited well enough to go to 3 consecutive New Year's Six bowls.
That's a valid point, and you're right, and it is true. But then why did we fire Muschamp, McElwain, Mullen, and all? Why did we fire him? Why?
Well, we gave Muschamp another year after he lost to Georgia Southern. McElwain flat out just lied to everybody. He should have
death threats.
Yeah, about the death threats that never were. I have no idea about the inner workings of this.
What's your opinion? I want to ask Ben the same thing. Should they have been more patient with these guys? Why did things go south so quickly? Well, even McElwain, who, by the way, made it to Atlanta a couple of times. But what happened? The program, is it just a program that's toxic?
No.
What's going on here? Something going on.
Expectations at the University of Florida are always through the roof, regardless of what happens with whatever coach. And I think what happened with a guy like, the reason why McElwain was out of here, McElwain wanted to get out of here. to the point where he started saying stuff and doing stuff. I get that. Dan Mullen is. I think what Dan Mullen is. Dan, you would have thought Scott Strickland would have gave Dan Mullen more because they was over there at Mississippi State together. That was like a layup. I mean, I'm going to get Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen is a good coach. And something Franz said, you're never going to – it's easy to say he's not a good recruiter, right, when it doesn't go the way we wanted to go. Dan Mullen, I'm sorry, Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney, that's Dan Mullen. Right, and I think the thing about it is now is we act as if the worst day I thought in Florida history was when Florida lose to Georgia Southern. Muschamp is the coach. They come down here, they beat us 26-20. I think Skylar Horningwig.
Morningwig.
Yeah, he's the coach, and I felt so bad. And I felt so bad for that kid. I really, really did. Jarek McKinnon. The running back that killed us. His older brother is Lester Norwood that went to Florida. That is his older brother. I thought it couldn't get no. And the thing about now, well, buddy, you ask what happens is, listen, Florida is about as hard of a place to coach as you're gonna get in sports, college, pro. It's up there, but it's also the best place to coach if you get it right. Ask the coaches that got it right. Dan Mullen got it right because every coach that walk out of coach don't get to walk into the booth. Just because he's in the booth now. You don't think that's Dan Mullen from Florida, right? And McElwain walked out of Florida, went to Central Michigan. Muschamp walked out of Florida, went to South Carolina. Now he's over there with Kirby Smart. So it's not like it ain't working for them coaches, even if they didn't do well. Muschamp left Florida, went to Auburn for a year, then he went to South Carolina. And guess what? He wasn't a good coordinator at Auburn that year. He did such a bad job, they hired him in South Carolina, right? And I think now, when it comes to Billy Napier, is the biggest head scratcher is the fact that, yes, we all drunk the Kool-Aid because we have to. Any coach come through there, hey, man, he's the next guy. When I'm there at Florida and Ron Zook gets the head coaching job, I don't remember. I was too young to remember Ron Zook, when he was at Florida and in the early 90s with Coach Spurrier and them, being the special teams coach and all. I didn't know him back then. But I'm gonna keep saying this. We went 16-10 my last 2 years, and we walking out of here saying, "Dang, dude, we ain't leaving nothing for these dudes coming behind us." We thought we were gonna be the ones. We were like, do we losing 5 games a year, 2 years in a row? But what Ron Zook was not as a head coach, he was a hell of a recruiter. He was a great recruiter. I guarantee you this. You would have to ask Urban Meyer because I don't know him personally. I've only met him one time, Billy. But I guarantee you, they win their first natty. Billy called. He called. Ron Zook and said, "Man, I appreciate you," because at least what Steve Harris and Ray McDonald and Chris Leak and the list goes on and on. The players that was there in 2003, because of what they went through, they was ready. 2006, they was ready. I'm not saying it's because of Zook, but I'm saying the payoff. People say, what was the payoff for Zook? 2006. It's not because Zook had got them, because what Billy Napier is afraid to do with players, like in public, man, please. Ron Zook took out the bleachers at the practice field. He said nobody sits down. They had this lady, she had to be in her, I don't know, late 80s, early 90s. It's hot out there. And somebody sat her down. Ron Zook stopped practice and said, "Get her out of here." Now, we thought he was, we knew he was Looney Tunes, but he was. But at the same time, buddy, I'm telling you, people, and when 2006 happened, and I'm sitting there watching them boys play, most of them starters got recruited by Zook. The impact players got recruited. So
what are you saying? You think Zook should have stayed? I mean, I'm
no.
Pick out one of those coaches and tell me who should have stayed. You said Mullen.
Mullen. I believe Scott Strickland and Mullen was like, they broke up, then they got back together, and they like, "Hey, dude, you was all right when you was over in Mississippi State." I'll never listen. Dan Mullen, like most head coaches, he's a weird dude. He is. All right, fine. He's a weird guy, but he can coach. He can coach. It didn't take Billy Napier to make us know he could coach. Three New Year's Six bowls. Back to back to back. Now the third one was bad. Okay, we get it. The third one was bad. We get it. But what about the first two? What about the fact that, you got a Heisman Trophy freaking candidate? I didn't even know that Kyle Trask led all of college football in touchdown passes. He led. So I'm just saying, Dan Mullen's resume at Florida, he can sit back and laugh. He's gonna do. Listen, I got the highest drafted tight end in NFL history. That's on my resume. I had Kadarius Toney, two-time Super Bowl champion. That's on my resume. Kyle Trask, the only reason why he ain't getting the opportunity down there with, with Tampa, because he went from Tom Brady to the number 1 overall pick, Baker Mayfield. But he got plenty of wins. The thing about Billy Napier is we don't. Steve Spurrier left because of the money, right? Ron Zook
Spurrier left because he needed to go. It was time.
No. Listen. 5 years, 25, whatever they was giving coach.
That was money was part of it, but that wasn't.
Left. Yeah. But Dan Mullen should have stayed. And the whole thing about it is, we live in a super duper. Everything's got to be, this make me feel good type world. I knew Billy Napier coming out of Louisiana, buddy. I thought he was gonna be good. He just wasn't. Just hasn't.
All right, let me get this in real fast, and I want to get to Van Der's comment about this. And we've got Loren coming by, and it says here online. I'm really looking for, in my mind, as I wrote this column, searching for exactly when did things start going wrong. I mean, as I said, Spurrier left. Meyer got castigated for faking his illness when fans, we knew it was real. Mistreated by the fans, but it was time for him to go. Mullen should have stayed and did. Muschamp was the guy who could have come in here and owned the town. Anyway, it never worked. Why did it never work? And why won't it work? That's what I want you to tell me. Stand by while I tell you about our friends up in North Florida who would like you to know that if you need an MRI, this is the place you can go. TitanMRI.com. They will take care of your needs. If you're claustrophobic like Ben, when you go get an MRI, they make these cages big enough so you can get in it. If you don't have insurance right now, you could use cash or card, and it's not an unreasonable amount of money. And if you can't get there at a certain time and you say, I can't come on Tuesdays, I work, I say, okay, when do you want to come? Night, weekend, whatever. They'll custom make your appointment. They make it about as easy as they can. I encourage you to go to TitanMRI.com and find out about how you can take the misery and pain out of getting an MRI. All right, guys, here's Van Der's comment. There are Gator fans who now are being heard. Maybe they feel like for the first time. They were trying to say to us earlier, and we didn't listen. I didn't listen because I thought things were going to be okay. Van Der says, I admired your restraint over the months you quieted much of the noise on your show. There are many times I felt like I was a Lone Ranger. And he was. He was a Lone Ranger. So it seems to me, friends, that Billy tried to tampen down any negativity and not give anybody too much airtime or exposure or tell them what was going on or answer a question. Or as I said in my column, I don't deserve special treatment. But if I go up there and take the time to go drive to Gainesville and raise my hand at the press conference, I should get a chance to ask a question. Sure. And that's not just about me. I'm just saying that's an example that I know well. And so, Franz, you have a lot. Both of you guys have a lot of stake in this game. You have skin in this game. You've both done your time. You've been good Gators and whatever. And then does it piss you off what's happened in that regard? Let's go get this guy, bring him in. He's back from somewhere, probably Tallahassee, sleeping on the job. Yeah, sleeping. So, good evening to you, Loren. I've asked the troops here to respond.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Dude.
Let me repeat the question for Loren, and then you comment. I've asked each of you to tell me, are you angry, mad, or discouraged by what has happened and how it's happened? Go ahead, Franz.
Well, here's what bothers me. And it bothers me dating back to Zook. Ron Zook, I give him all the credit in the world for being a tremendous recruiter. I like Ron Zook. I think Ron Zook is one fine human being, okay? Had no business being a head football coach at that point in time. Had never done it before, and nobody left him with an owner's manual saying this is, I mean, I had to put together a new phone system in my house this week, and trust me, I had to have that owner's manual, or else we'd still my parents still couldn't make a phone call out, and they darn near didn't even with me in the owner's manual. Ron had no business being the head coach. We got Urban Meyer because of the president of the university wanted him to be the head coach. Period.
True.
And that was going to be the moment Bernie Matchin took the job. That was going to be. Period. And Ron got a raw deal because of it. He shouldn't have been the head coach to begin with. But number two, Bernie Matchin was determined to bring Urban Meyer here from the moment he took the job. Urban had legitimate health issues. I go to Will Muschamp. In 2013, he had an incredible rash of injuries, starting with game number 1 when Easley goes down, his best defensive player goes down. Game number 2, I think it was that his quarterback goes down with an injury. By the time he gets to Georgia Southern, he is on his 4th string quarterback, and I guess about the 13th string offensive line going in there. And he lost to Georgia Southern. And yeah, it was a bad moment. And everybody put the blame on Will. And Will did not try, to Will's credit, Will did not back down and say, point the finger at anybody else. He did not come out there and say, I had my 4th string quarterback in there. I think if they'd given him another year, he might have ended up doing well because he had finally had the right offensive coordinator in there in Kurt Roper. McElwain survived 2 years on Will Muschamp's defense, and when all of them went to the NFL, McElwain was sitting there exposed along with his yellow teeth, and he was looking for a way out because he knew he was heading to getting fired. Mullen, I think we pulled, I'm hearing all this stuff about Mullen quit and all this other stuff. There's a lot of speculation about what happened with Dan. But all I can say is this, 3 straight New Year's Six bowls, and then we're firing him the next season when he's got Alabama on the ropes. Quite frankly, I'm looking right now at what Florida did that year. And they lost to Alabama by 2. They should have beaten Kentucky. Emory Jones blew that one. They should have beaten LSU, lost that one 49-42. Should have won that game. But that was a game when Third and Grantham showed up. Got clobbered by Georgia. Everybody did. The game that killed him was South Carolina. When they lost to South Carolina 40-17, it was over. But he still beat Sanford. They lose to Missouri. It was definitely over by then. I don't know what went on with that. But I know this, that there's a lot of people who still ask me the question of, what we're wrong. And I don't know. And I don't think and people get out there, they can say it's revisionist history, whatever. But 2 people know what happened with Dan Mullen. One of them is Scott Strickland. Well, actually 3. Kent Fox, who was the president, Scott Strickland, and Dan Mullen. Those are the only 3 people who know for sure what went on. Everybody else is speculating, just like we're speculating why he didn't get a 4th year.
All right.
Billy Napier, they could have hired Lane Kiffin then and didn't. That's all I got to say.
All right, Loren Meadows, you've been laying back here in the shadows. You have plenty to say. Good job of hosting Tuesday night.
Thank you.
I know kind of how you feel about it. I mean, we all have our various candidates and whatever. I was asking the question, how did we get it so wrong? Is this a toxic place? What happened? Which one of those coaches in the past should we have kept, etc.? Your thoughts, Loren?
Well, I too have a brick on the facade like you do. So to take kind of my journalist hat off for 5 seconds, I do feel like that we've been sold a bill of goods that was false. And but I think Billy Napier could have been successful here at Florida, but he just got it all wrong. And if we pulled the plug on somebody too soon, I would definitely say it was Dan Mullen. I think Mullen should have been given a year, an off season to revamp his staff, take a good look at his staff, kind of mandate maybe getting a little younger. So, maybe he had some guys that were really solid recruiters. If that wasn't his strong suit, you hire people that aren't good at what you do. I coached for a guy in Ohio. He wasn't a people person. So he hired a bunch of people, myself and others, that kind of handled the people part of it. So I think we pulled the plug on Mullen. But as far as where Napier is, it just he really, for me, he really got the public perception thing wrong. And I think that, I said this on your show Monday. We've kind of alluded to it on Tuesday. I think he just let things get away from him from the standpoint of the optics. And the optics have just never been good. And even, if you look at really Wednesday's press conference, I think at some point you have to seem apologetic or almost remorseful that things haven't gone the way that you thought they were going to go. And he was kind of like a guy that's won a few ball games and has some wins under his belt. So, like I said, I think he stuck to a playbook that ultimately is going to doom him. But, if you look back, are we better off than we were at the end of 2021? And I would say no. I think we swapped one very good football coach who kind of needed to just change the way he had done things to somebody who really doesn't have a clue. And I've been saying that for at least 2 years, that the product on the field, which is what matters, had not been up to par. All that other stuff, you got it. But when it comes down to it,
you got a Monday.
Yeah, the football part is not good.
Yeah, you're right. And so Ben, taking that point right there, he's talking about how did Billy get it so wrong? How did Scott Strickland get it so wrong? And what was the evidence that made us think that Dan Mullen, and I drank at the Kool-Aid, Dan Mullen was going to turn this around, because he could be here 3 more seasons and not do it. For an episode, I have seen the light. This is not the football coach at Florida to make it rain. And so who's responsible? Where do we go from here, Ben? And why couldn't Billy? A simple thing is this. All right, I'm going to give you a personal note. Not that it matters if it was me or what it was about, but the very first day, Franz, you were sitting next to me.
Yeah.
The very first day that Billy came to this press conference, I harken back to Urban Meyer's first press conference of 100 and something people. They're a big day. I drove up from South Florida. I didn't know Urban Meyer from Garlansky. and I listened to him talk. And I asked what I thought was a fairly intelligent question. And I'm not patting myself on the back here, because, Franz, you asked a lot of great questions. And I asked about the timeline of coming to Florida versus Notre Dame. Turns out that he was just about to take the Notre Dame job. He didn't want to say that then. But the moment that we had that conversation, our eyes locked on, I felt something. I felt like he understood where I was coming from. And from that day on, by the way, we talked about it after that, we indeed established a relationship that day by asking a question and getting an honest response, and him saying, there's a guy who kind of knows what he's talking about. I mean, it's a mutual respect. Now, I don't want any credit, praise, nothing for that. But then on the first day, let me roll forward and I'll stop. On the first day of of Billy Napier, you and I were sitting in the front row right next to his family. And first opportunity I got to ask a question, my first comment was, your children are really well behaved.
Yes, they are.
And he said, well, you saw them on a good day. It was fine, light moment. The purpose being to lighten up the moment. I asked you a question, didn't get much response. But when we got up to move to the next place, as you know, friends, you have to post people up and make sure you get in front of them. I make sure I got next to Napier, because the one question I wanted to ask him to reveal of who he was, a man of spirituality, right? I said to him, I know you have that you're a Bible reader and a Christian. What's your favorite scripture? Right? Now, what would you have said, Franz or Loren or Ben, whatever?
23rd Psalms. That's what I would say.
You'd come up with a subject.
23rd Psalms.
Well, yeah,
Easy.
We've all got one, right?
Yeah.
Proverbs 16:3.
There you go. Romans 8, whatever. You got a man on that. It would really mean a lot to you if you're a spiritual person. You know what to say to me? Oh, there are a lot of them.
Does he say?
Yeah. Now, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm good with that. That indicates to me now he never wanted to reveal any of himself to us. He never wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
There's an example right there in the comments.
If you would have asked me that, if you would have said, Ben, what is your favorite scripture? I would have closed my eyes and I would have said, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not to thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path, right? But I think you just said it. I think you just said it. You asked me about Scott Strickland. Scott Strickland knew that no one's going to stop him from making a hire. And sometimes that's not a good thing, because you need to consult with people just to fill the room out, right? Number 2, public perception is how we got it wrong. Because there's so much visibility on these coaches. Man, he got this hot shot dude come to Louisiana, and he said, hey, he's going to go back to Louisiana coaching the Sun Belt Championship game. Then because he's loyal to that team, and he came back. And you know what? And there were people that kept saying, that ain't Florida, that ain't Florida, that ain't Florida. But because we want to get the sour taste of Dan Mullen out of our mouth, we say, hey, man, let's wash it down with some Billy Napier. We didn't really taste it, though. We didn't really taste it. We said, oh, man, we just knew it tastes different than Dan. It tastes a little different. Different ain't always better. Because now, when it comes to Billy Napier, is this. The worst plan to have in college football and in life is one that cannot be altered. And he won't alter it. He will not alter the plan. And because he has not, because sometimes, once again, here comes the perception thing again. He's dominating in recruiting. Oh, my God, we went from bottom feeders to we in the top 25, top 15. But it doesn't show on the field. Oh, he's doing it again. It doesn't show on the field. Oh man, look at these guys. We got legacy players coming in. We got Miles Graham coming in. We got Vernell Brown, junior coming in 2025. Ain't no product on the field. And Loren just said it. If it don't happen on Saturday, it don't matter. And that's what Billy Napier does the worst at. Because look, I'm gonna say this. I can deal with losing. I cannot deal with not looking competitive. People who can't stand Florida, don't root for Florida, don't care about Florida, they're saying, what's going on in Florida? Like there are people who say, they stand up and say, what's going on with y'all? And it's been like that. Listen, when you got Anthony Richardson, you got a freak. So people, they ain't looking at the game, they're looking at him. But here's the thing though. We go to Vanderbilt with Anthony Richardson. We need a Hail Mary, and he throws it out of the back of the end zone. and listen, when it happened, the Vanderbilt DBs were like, did it? What? The guy that caught the ball in the stand, like, bro, you're supposed to throw. I'm telling you, I guarantee you this. I could be lying. Ron Zook ain't gonna let that happen. Spurrier ain't gonna let that happen. Urban Meyer ain't gonna let that happen, because sometimes I play according to what my coach showed me. My coach can't tell me. He can tell me what to do and show me how to do it. What happens when it comes to a guy like Billy Napier is this. Spurrier made it really cool to call plays to be the head coach. But he was good at it. It's not that he ain't called. He's good at it. Billy Napier, no, can't nobody tell him no. That's the problem. Can't nobody tell Scott Strickland no.
Yep.
Can't nobody tell Billy no. And when you're in a position that you cannot be told no, you start.
That's how he wants it. That's how he wants it.
But the thing about it is Scott Strickland hired Dan Mullen at Mississippi State. Don't you think he's gonna want more stuff when he come to Florida? Dude, I'm winning.
No, Greg Byrne hired him.
Greg Byrne hired him. Scott Strickland ended up.
Scott inherited him.
And I don't know. I just think that the saddest part about this whole situation is, man, if you're a player at Florida, right? No matter what, listen. When it's good, you get the benefit from the good, and when it's bad, you're gonna benefit from the bad because you cannot separate it. I was there with Ron Zook, and I'm telling you, we weren't sophisticated. We were not sophisticated with our play calling. We were great at execution. Because we had Keywan Ratliff, one of the greatest to come out of Ohio. That boy said, hey, man, you think I came all the way down here? I'm trying to show y'all what we do. SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Gus Scott. This is when Alex Brown and Gerard Warren and Kenyatta Walker, they gone. They gone. Now we got to do it. I think now when it comes to Billy Napier, what we got it wrong is we believe that the scared money don't make no money. He ain't spent no money.
No.
If scared money don't make no money, we are scared as hell because we ain't spent that. We ain't spent a dime.
Our money.
I'm going to make a comment here, and I'd like to hear you.
I want to get Franz. I want to get you to sum up the night. Hold that comment, and I got a question for you directly to speak to that too. Let Ben jump in there. Let Loren jump in there with a final thought about the mistakes made. Now, where do we go? You got about 60 seconds, Loren.
I have made a point to myself, and this will kind of quantify the way I feel about the way that things have happened. I have been part of the media for the entire time that Billy Napier has been on the staff. We have never met. I know a lot of his coaches, know his support people. He and I have never met. So I don't care, win or lose, on Saturday in Starkville, Billy Napier and I are going to meet.
Good luck.
Period. That sums it up right there.
Ask him what his favorite scripture is. All right, Franz, go ahead with your comment you're going to make. And I wanted to ask you about, I got a comment here about from Jason Lambert. I don't know who he is, but it's an interesting comment about the media heat. And you and I, Franz, have talked about this many times. Over the years, when newspapers were rocking and rolling, there was a ton of papers that engaged them. Oh. And we talk about the scene over at the old Hub Student Center, where you walk up there and you see 17, 18 newspaper racks. I mean, all from the state of Florida. Oh. Every paper of any size had a box there. And by gollies, and they wrote about the Gators every day. And the heat came on, you saw it and you felt it and you knew it. And it got to be quite oppressive for a lot of coaches. Probably one of the things that brought Bob Woodruff down, whatever. So this is a comment from Jason. It says, Mullen got fired because he couldn't handle the heat, which is different almost anywhere else. At one time, Florida had more reporters and writers on the road than any team in America. Any team in America. Okay? Talk about it, friends.
This is romper room compared to what it was back when you had great columns, Craig Barnes at Pompano's Sun, Bernie Linscomb at the Fort Lauderdale Central, Eddie Pope down in Miami, the Pope when it comes to sports writing in the state of Florida. Tom McEwen, Jack Harston, Bill Castells, on and on and on. Larry Guest, as much as I disliked him, and even though he covered the Seminoles, Mac McGrotha, great. We had great writers in this state. Hubert Mizell, every paper. We were covered by the Winter Haven News Chief. We were covered by the Bradenton Herald, the Sarasota News.
Ocala Banner,
the Fort Myers News and Press, the Naples Daily News. all these people had newspapers. The Leesburg Daily Commercial may not sound like much. The DeLand Sun. Yeah, exactly.
Florida Beach News Journal.
The Sanford Herald.
Florida Today.
We had a tiny press box, and I'm telling you, if you were fat, you didn't fit in. Thank goodness I was skinny in those days, because the press box was tiny. The heat was in. This is romper room, comparatively speaking. These guys got fired not because they couldn't handle the media heat. In fact, Dan Mullen was fabulous with the media. Guy could sit there and talk 30, 40 minutes. Now Napier, 15 minutes, they want his ass out of there. Mullen was just getting warmed up when it got to 30 minutes. I mean, his vocal cords were just getting warmed up. All right, now my comment. Then I'd like to hear you guys comment. I believe, seriously, having given this thought all week, the biggest problem Billy Napier has had, and Buddy has alluded to it in one respect, and we all have in one way or another. I believe he has spent more time trying to be the next Nick Saban and not enough time trying to be the first Billy Napier.
Yeah. And I'll follow that comment by saying that a very famous coach said to me, I said to him, I don't get Billy Napier's deal, his MO, how he handles his press conferences, how he doesn't let you talk, how he keeps everybody from you. And he looked at me and said, because that's how Nick Saban does it.
But that kind of stuff doesn't make any sense because, look, there are certain things that shouldn't happen, right? There are certain things in my mind that shouldn't happen, right? As great as Tim Tebow was, he shouldn't have played tight end. But why did he get a chance to play? Because Urban was there, right? Because Urban was there. Neither one of them are wrong, but it ain't right. Neither one of them are wrong. When it comes to a situation like Billy Napier, yes, we drank the Kool-Aid. Yes, we had to drink it. And the Kool-Aid probably wasn't even that good, but we drank it anyway. And it's what you just said too, Loren. I ain't never even met him. Why? I learned about the media when I'm at Florida. I'm a little young pup. Yeah, I'm 21. I finally get to go in the big media room. I'm like, dang, all these people. And all I know is I don't know how many seats was in there, but they was packed. And I thought people was like, dude, they got to sit close to each other. No. And they was standing room only in here. And I'm trying my best not to mess up these questions, right? I'm doing my best. But I respected the media. I respected the fact that I got to walk in here with my Michael Vick Atlanta, Falcon jersey on, trying to say, I remember to say this, just say, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, be complimentary of my teammates, and only talk about myself. Just as far as accountability. Couldn't spell accountability then, can't spell it now, but I know what's needed. And I think the thing about Billy Napier is he don't want that accountability stuff. And you can see it. And how hard is it to come up there and say, hey, man, look, I haven't been getting it done. The same way a coach will talk to a player in private, he got to talk about himself like that in public. At least look like we get it. It's at Florida. It's rough. But I'm going to say this and I'm going to keep saying it. You ain't giving that money back. Them checks are cashing every week or however he get paid. You got to be able to, I think a coach who gets paid, they pay you to take the hits. They pay you to stand up there and say, Franz, buddy, Loren. I had a head coach tell me, I said, man, what makes a good head coach? He says, when you know the media by first name, you know them. Franz, Loren. Not just pointing to that kind of stuff matters because it's letting you know, man, I'm respecting everybody in the building. Don't give me this. Why you make the players know everybody in the building? Why you making the players know the equipment?
And you made a great point. I don't want to get past you. The greatest rejuvenation job for anybody in the media, and you guys are way too young to know about it, was the guy who was 22 years old and beating all the people on the PGA Tour, including the Wonder Boy Arnold Palmer, and he was called Fat Jack Columbus. And he was the scourge of most people. How dare this fat kid beat Arnold Palmer? The transition he made for the next 10 years was the most remarkable I've ever seen. I got to see it up close, and I knew Jack well. And he had Mark McCormick behind him. He changed his image. He lost a bunch of weight. He started getting better looking clothes, let his hair grow back a little bit, and he started talking to people, showing his personality. And when he went into the media room, he could call the name of 50 people. 50 right there. Why? Because he worked at it. And he's saying, I care enough about you and the process to respect you, to show you I know who you are. That's, you said earlier, they knew the media's name.
Well,
I asked Jack Nicklaus a question at the 73 Masters. Buddy and I were there on day one. Day two, I raised my hand. They pointed to me. Jack Nicklaus looks at me and says, yes, Franz. Before I even asked the question, he knew my name, and I asked him the question a day before, and I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh. You know?
Well, here's the thing is I ain't hard to find in the Gator media. Franz can attest to that. I'm not hard to find.
You're the most visible guy we got from Gatorbait.
Well, it's not about that. Franz knows what I'm talking about. I'm not hard to find. So,
and the thing about it, Loren, listen. Okay,
it's because you wear the short skirts. That's
why. Go to SEC media days. In the media, never went there as a player. Right, I'm walking in. BJ Bennett, my partner in crime. Before we about 2 minutes before we walk in Radio Row, he pulled me aside and said, Troupe, listen to me. Do me 3 things today. Wait, take every interview, right? Smile, don't say no. That's it. And we walked in. Take every interview, smile, don't say no. And he'll say, and I'll tell you at the end. I'm gonna tell you at the end. I ain't got time. We walked in, them cameras on me like I'm a player, right? I did more interviews at SEC Media Days than the coaches and the players. All the coaches and players combined. I'm over there with Chris Doran. I'm over there, everybody that was there. What I appreciate about that was BJ told me what to expect before I walked in. Because if he don't tell me that, I'm gonna say no. Because he said, hey man, you different. I know you a part of us, but you a part of them too, because you used to do it. Now, if I don't respect BJ as a person and a media personality, I'm gonna do what Billy does, man. I'm gonna do the interviews. But because I said yes, there go Gene Chiswick. There go Kirby. Kirby Smart doesn't do local radio. He don't do it. He did it for us. They had a camera so big on my face, light shine all in my face. I'm about to tell Kirby, I'm about talking to him like this. But it's a respect level. If you respect everybody in the building like you say you do, prove it. Because at the end of the day, who you think gonna write your story when you long gone? The people that you didn't even give a story when you was here. That don't make no sense to me. Because sometimes, buddy, I remember when everybody was coming at Urban, and you always would say the same thing. I know him. And it's different when you know a person. When you got to give a person a chance to know you, right? Billy ain't even do that. So it's hard to feel sorry for him because at the end of the day, you got $7.2 million every year. You got $26 million buyout. Come on, man. You're going to land on top no matter what we say. You mean to tell me if I said, if I'm in the meeting room, if I said, hey, coach, yeah, is it true you make your players know all their teammates, all the equipment staff? Yeah. What's his name? Who, him? Him. Yeah, the bald-headed, handsome black gentleman right there. Dang. You don't know it? Listen, and I go, not only should you know him, he has a name that stands out in life. His name is Loren. To me, that's and maybe I don't know, man. I just think that for me, I come on Orange BlueBloods because Buddy Martin reached out to me and said, hey man, I see something in you. You don't gotta do that, buddy, but you did. I remember Franz. Franz, I used to tell my mom, I said, Mama, his name is Franz. His look is stern, but if you know him, you know that he don't mean no harm. Now, if he don't like you, he mean it. But if he do like you, Franz will give you the shut off. I say, Loren, man from Ohio. My mom say, grown black man, bald head, named Loren. His name is Loren. That is but it ain't spelled how it's sound. I just get a kick out of the fact that respect will take you much farther than freaking wins and losses will. He got plenty of the L's at this point. So now Loren finna run down on him. He gonna really run down on Billy Napier. So, hey man, my name is Loren Meadows. I know you've seen me before, but for some reason, your SID, he ain't get the memo either. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, it's just a lot.
You know,
we're way over here.
We're way over, but we're on a roll.
I'm gonna give you a chance. There's certain parameters we have to follow on this, according to the producer. But I'm gonna let you say what you want to say, and I'll give you a limited time to say it in. And in it, I want you to include a sentence of your personal emotion now about the whole program. I don't care what your opinion is. Your personal emotion, how you feel about it, and where you think it's going to go. Let's go right on back. Let's go right on back to Loren, and then we'll go over to Ben, and then we'll come to Franz.
Great outside, terrible inside. That sums up the football program. Where we go from here, I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, we're headed towards another dark time of speculation and what may or may not be. And unfortunately, I think our listeners and other fans are going to get their feelings hurt. And I think we're going to be debating if this coach was the right coach, because it won't be Lane Kiffin. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, man.
Unfortunately for me, I have to live in the perception of what, Florida football is, because the reality is it's just hard to stomach. And I do agree with Loren. I think what hurts the most is starting over again. We negotiate for coaches in the media like we have any. We don't have no bearing on it. It's going to be Lane. It's going to be Lincoln Riley. It's going to be John Gruden. That's how bad it's gotten. John Gruden. What would John Gruden know about coaching college athletes? No. So for me, it's just the reality of the fact that every week I drink the Kool-Aid again. Every week I do little posts and everything. And then after the game, if my phone don't work, I'll make a post before the game. Come on, Florida Nation, let's do it. And you know what they say? Well, we do our part every week. They don't. We do it every week, and they don't. And that's where we are now. It's the fact that I live in, it's like, it's like wanting to date a person because they got potential. Hell, we all got potential. Most of us will not live up to it. And right now, I'm living in a bubble called perception and reality. And I'll let Loren and Franz and Buddy, y'all gonna have to pop it, because I'm drowning over here, man.
All right, who's going to be the coach, Ben?
Who's going to be?
Give me the coach. Give me a name.
Don't do it, Ben. Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. You know what? I'm going to do it because I don't care.
Yeah, that's what
it's not Lane.
What we do here.
Riley. Listen, you know what? If we're going to do this, give me Dion. If we're going to do this, just give me Dion.
Hey, listen, that's the name. How can it be any worse?
If we ain't going to win, just like Colorado.
Well, no, it can't be worse. Well,
how can it be worse? All right. So I got a name, and while you're at it, Loren, give me your name before I let you go. Throw one out there. Let's go.
I'm gonna go with the Tuesday crew. I like Dan Lanning. I'm gonna throw out Dan Lanning.
It's your turn now, and also your chance. It's your opportunity to say what you want to say, and then to give your coach.
All right. Florida's in a bad situation, and it's been heading in that direction for way too long. Jesse Simonton wrote a column at On3, and it's hard to disagree with it. It said Florida's problems extend well beyond Billy Napier, and he said it's time to come in here and basically take bleach bit to the entire athletic department and start at the administration. We got some tremendous coaches, got the best coach in any sport in the business in Mouse Holloway, got Tim Walton, Mary Wise, Hall of Famers who belong anywhere at any time, got a great lacrosse coach, and on and on. Tremendous swimming coach, Anthony Nesty. We got some great coaches. It's the people who are calling the shots, and I can't disagree with that. I wish I could say I do, but I don't. It's time. At some point in time, you got to realize stuff isn't working out. There's an old saying that I live by. It says, if you always do what you've always done, you will always be what you've always been. Okay. You look at what's going on now. The same people have been running the show and making one bad hire after another. And it's not, and goodness, it's time. At some point in time, you got to say, enough. Let's start over. We are the University of Florida. We've got to do better than this.
And of course, that is the definition of insanity. You just nailed it right there. Give me a coach, Franz.
James Franklin, Penn State. I know a lot of people are going to say no way, but here's the deal. He is a very articulate African-American man who can go into any living room, white, black, red, green, purple, and make an impression. He's a winner who's in a league that's stacked for Ohio State and Michigan. And people say, well, Paterno did. He's won as Big Ten championships about at the same rate Paterno did. Paterno won 3 in 24 years.
We hear you do it. Your guns. You're consistent. Now I'm gonna give you one here a little off the wall because I don't think Lane's going to come. Okay. There's just too much there. I mean, what you have, if he wins, he gets to the championship game. He's making 10, 11 million now. You need 14 to get him here. The good part about it was when he comes, he bring about 45 players, which is the advantage of the NIL deal. But they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and once again, unfortunately, compromise their choices because, I'm sorry, Nick Saban ain't coming in that front door. Okay, so Steve Spurrier's not going to come back, and they got to find somebody. Once again, this is the thing they have not done well: evaluations and making decisions. They've done a poor job. But I'm just going to take a shot here because I don't see Kiffin coming. I don't know who it would be. I have no idea where to go. I'm going to throw a name out there. And I don't know much about him, but I love what I've heard about him and what he's done. Jamie Chadwell.
Super dude.
Yeah.
I can attest for that.
Yeah.
Had an hour-long conversation with him in January. Super
I remember that. You told me that.
Super dude. Super dude.
Pretty good coach too, by the way.
Yeah.
I think he's a great coach, but all the word that we're getting through so many places with people who seem to have a lot more connection than I is that they're going to go for they're not going to go for somebody from a Sun Belt or a lower conference again.
I know all that, and I've said it 100 times, and I wrote about it and said I still believe it's true. But in the end, when you've got to make a choice, you're down to it. It's going to be the money guys who will decide. Will they accept Jamie Chadwell? Probably not. I said.
I think he'd be a terrific coach. I think he's one of these guys that you plug him in.
He's the guy I would say. Is he going to get the job? Probably not. But I don't think the answer is going to hire Brian Kelly either or whoever.
Brian Kelly, please stop it. No.
I
like John Franklin. Listen, John Franklin won. Coach Franklin won at Vandy. Listen, hold on. Where does it say? Where's it at? Somebody put it. Somebody said he won at Vandy, and since we Vandy, it only makes sense. He just comes down. No, I do, but I will say this. No, Lane Kiffin. I don't think Lane Kiffin wouldn't come because we wouldn't get the money to get him. I don't think he would come because he realized, dude, Florida's a beast. That's a beast over there.
Dream job though.
I believe. And you can ask Spur, you can ask Dan, you can ask Urban. When you win it, it's the best job in football. If you winning, there is no better job if you winning in Florida. Problem is, we ain't won consistently in a while. Like I said, if Nick Saban said his biggest regret was leaving LSU, this is why he's at Alabama. Certain places are just better when you winning. And I think for a guy like Coach Franklin, hey man, Texas came over here, Oklahoma came over here, come on back, Coach Frank. I don't think Florida couldn't get who they want. I just think that what Billy Napier just exposed at Florida is the fact that, good God, man, they just, hey man, and we don't take no prisons over here, But at the same time, if listen, Cristobal loving life right now because he was able to beat us first game of the year, and his record ain't that much better it ain't that much better than Billy Napier. So we'll see.
All right, guys, we got to go. And I love you. Soon stay here with you all night and talk about this. I know y'all got better things to do. Really good show. A lot of people watching. I want to remind them to subscribe. Go ahead smash that subscribe button, as Brenda would always say. And also tell you that you should be subscribing to Gatorbait. Three of these gentlemen on the screen write for Gatorbait. And we're going to have 4 soon. Our good buddy Rob Brown started writing a column there. We had some wonderful columns by Carlton, our friend up in Carlton, recent Ocala. And we're always looking for bright new personalities, people who want to write. Loren is nodding his head. He knows a couple. We're looking for young talent. So if you're interested, see Coach Meadows.
I ain't human resources too.
Yeah, you are.
Lauren gonna have people coming up to him again, be like, Lauren, listen, listen, bro. Whoa. Listen. Keep listening to Orange BlueBloods, but buddy, gonna listen.
Let me put Lauren's cell phone number up here.
Listen. Mama Meadows gonna say, listen. If this ain't Buddy Martin, you got the wrong number. Don't be calling. You don't need no new friends.
I love you guys. It's a great job.
All right, guys.
Take care. Thank you very much for a good show. Really good job, our guys tonight. You don't get this everywhere, folks, and so glad that we're able to bring it to you here. And we love the fact that you tune in nightly and listen to what we have to say. We also love the fact that we've got so many people who believe in what we do, especially our fine sponsors, who've been loyal with us for a long time. Nobody more loyal than MedStar Medical Research. If you don't know what they do, they're in the business of finding better treatment for us in our North Central Florida area. They work with the biomedical companies to try to find out what works and what doesn't. We all have different needs in our bodies. We have these clinical trials to find out what works. And by joining the clinical trials, you not only help yourself know more about it and your body and what it responds to, but you help other people in the community who likewise are trying to find out more about what they need in the way of prescription drugs. So it's the way you're tailor-making your own prescription drugs through WinStar Medical Research. I highly encourage you to go to winstar.net, look up their clinical trials, what they're doing them on. They do them different ones all the time. And sign up. If you qualify, you get compensation for time and travel. You get some investigational drugs usually or equipment. And it's going to help you. It's going to help them. It's going to help the community. Once again, thank you to all the good people at WinStar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. And by the way, since Brendan has misplaced our close now on what we do here, we have to go back to the open and play it again because that's all we got. So we'll say good night and thank you. And we're back on Monday. Been a great week, crazy week, but hey, I'm hopeful, although I don't want to give you too much hope. Let's see what happens on Saturday. There's a lot of things that need to be done before anything good happens. All right? Good night, folks.
Or Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.